all? They all should be.
Everybody ready? Yeah. It's on that last minute.
No, thank you.
Okay, 10 o'clock. Welcome to the BOCC meeting. Looking for a pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Agenda approval.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second. First and second. Call for the vote.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner Chamberlain?
Yes.
Chairman Spooner? Motion passes.
That consent agenda.
All right. On today's consent agenda, I have the July 8th meeting minutes. I have rehired Dan Matthews in the Sheriff's Office. New hire Curtis Bowen in the Huerfano Road Bridge. Addition from DHS, Lonzo Martinez. Addition from Road and Bridge, Tony Perino. Bonus for Robert Kelly. Bonus for Deborah Bernal. And all that support for the South Central Council of Government for a DOLA housing planning grant.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
First and second, any discussion? We did talk about the typo and Rhonda's name.
Yes, we will make sure that Wanda Kelly with 3 L's.
Yeah.
Bonus is supposed to go to Wanda Kelly with
Exactly.
2 L's.
Call for the vote.
Commissioner Chamberlain?
Yes.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Chairman Spooner?
Yes.
Motion passes.
And no appointments. On to permits, licenses, and public hearings.
Sure.
Good morning.
This morning I have a request for a bulk water permit from Meisler, Peter and Peg. They are requesting a bulk water permit because they don't have a well. They purchased a house up there in Gardner. And they only come 3 to 4 months a year to summer here. So that is a request for bulk water permit. There is a house and a shed on the property. There are no cold wells. So recommendation to approve.
Excellent. We have a motion.
I make a motion to approve the bulk water permit.
Second.
First and second, any other discussion? Call for the vote.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner Chamberlain?
Yes.
Chairman Spooner?
Yes.
Motion passes.
On action items.
And that is all I'm going to use today.
Thank you.
Sure. All right, Commissioners, petition number 2025-076 for Chaparral Construction, the amount of $3,740. This is for the mobilization of a lowboy excavator with a hammer to break up an old concrete bridge on County Road 104.
Make a motion to approve purchase order 2025-076 in the amount of $3,740.
Second.
First and second, call for the vote.
Commissioner Chamberlain?
Yes.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Chairman Spooner?
Yes.
Motion passes. Next, I have a contract for transfer of land or property by and between Huerfano County and the Waiatoya Canyon Cooperative Association. This is for the transfer of the property known as Little Kansas or Waiatoya Canyon from the county to an association of the property owners in that area. As you'll see, I included the resolution 24-46, which authorized this transfer and lays out the reasons for it.
I make a motion to accept the contract for transfer of land and property to the Wyatoya Canyon Cooperative Association.
I'll second the motion.
First and second, any other discussion? Call for the vote.
Commissioner Waddell,
Yes.
Commissioner Chamberlain,
Yes.
Chairman Spooner,
Yes,
motion passes. And
be
that
nice
is
to clean that up.
Okay.
Now correspondence.
All right, first of all, your leave balances as of June 28th. I have your scheduled July 2025 newsletter. The notice evaluation from the property tax administrator with the state.
Easy for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's worth more than that. And then your CAP monthly reports for July 2025.
Yeah. On the public comment. And first up, Stacy. Have that feed come up, Stacy, and state your name and address. And you got 3 minutes for the record.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Stacy Corey from Lathrop State Park, and I just wanted to come to the meeting today and publicly thank the county for all the hard work and effort and an excellent fireworks show that we had on July 4th. And I wish I had a way to count numbers of data, but we were just talking. The numbers increase every year, and it still just goes smoother and smoother. We had no major incidents at all, and traffic flow was great. Fireworks was wonderful. So just wanted to thank you all for that effort. And also just to give a couple other, and also thank Mr. Bryant, who has also been coming out and spraying weeds for us. It's been a huge help. And so thank you for all your part in that and letting him come out and do that. And then just a couple updates from the park. We've had a really smooth summer. We're full, but not too much. And if you've been out there, you've seen a couple of new buildings coming in, but we're getting a new boat inspection station closer to the water so we can keep those nasty little zebra mussels out of our lakes. And the state has been very, since 2008, of keeping our lakes clean. So I want to thank the public for their work with doing that. And we had a Highline Reservoir up in the Northwest has had some issues, but Lathrop has stayed clean for this whole time.
Nice.
And also we are getting a long requested fish cleaning station. So if you see the other little shelter that's up by Martin Lake, a fish cleaning station is coming in. And then also, not that this matters right now, but but also I will be retiring in December. So just wanted, and I will see everybody before then, but just wanted to let everyone know there will be a new manager in 2026. And any questions that you have for me?
Well, first, I don't want to accept your leaving because you've done such a good job. But thank you for everything you did for the dumpsters and everything that you did to make it fireworks display work so well. That's fantastic.
And we're having a follow-up meeting tomorrow. So yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, next in line, Danielle Connell. Sorry if I. Oh,
Hello, everyone.
Daniel, sorry.
I'd like to speak to this,
Could you state your name and address
Daniel
for the
Connell. I
record,
live at 215 West 3rd Street in Walsenburg. I'm a homeowner here. I'd like to address the proposed ICE detention center. I'm going to invoke my mother's name now. My mother was born in Sudetenland in 1939. I'm a first-generation Holocaust survivor. And one of the things I learned when I was very young is what a Nazi is. I have a picture of Elon Musk doing a Nazi salute, Steve Bannon doing a Nazi salute, Tom Homan doing a Nazi salute, and Trump doing a Nazi salute. One of the things I learned is if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck and wants to put a concentration camp in your town, it's a Nazi. Commissioner Wardle said, there's nothing we can do about it. They're going to do whatever we want, whether we like it or not. No, there is something you can do. This is a private company. You can deny them a permit to operate in this county. There's too many things that you can do. Apparently, you don't want to do anything because Commissioner said so. I can promise you this. If this ends up here, this town will be spoken in the same breath as Sand Creek Massacre, Kit Carson's murderous rampages through this state. We don't want to be known as a town with concentration camp. If it happens, we will find out who works at this place. We will identify them to the public so they can know that the risk that these people pose to our community. And we will boycott every bit. I will not do business with any business in a town that has a concentration camp. There was a comment on social media, and I'm going to quote it and then I'll leave it at that. They said, while we cash the checks, we will tell our children that the ash falling from the sky is warm snow. That's what people will think of our town, of our county. We're paying for this to go here. Our taxes are paying for this. You talk about all the money we're going to make off of this? No, we're paying for it on the front end. I moved here because I wanted to be here. If this happens here, I don't want to be here. I'll take my money elsewhere. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Next in line, Lakota McDonald.
Hello, my name's Lakota Kano. I also live at 215 West 3rd Street. So my name is Lakota Sue Kano, a proud name from a proud people, but we are alike in spirit more than blood. My family's history, too, is one of violent displacement, survival, and erased truths. They fled Nazi fascism in Sudetenland, but our oppression only swapped flags, not hatred. From Jim Crow to Hitler to Israel and back, the global systemic violence persists. The IDF has trained U.S. police forces and tactics tested on innocent Palestinians since the early 2000s. The IDF is ICE. Now, even our local rural governments want to normalize militarizing our police against us, and we must resist. I've lived in southern Colorado for 5 years and Walsenburg for 1, and I love its land, people, and history. In my work caring for the vulnerable, I try my best to give voice to the voiceless. Immigrants built Huerfano County, its name meaning orphan county, to honor them, and their legacy of resisting greed and abuse lives on. We reject the proposed concentration camp, and it won't help our city financially, and it will not be tolerated. CoreCivic has a record of abuse already like ICE, and we've paid the prices for it once before. And closed as it is currently, still do now. Mayor Vazani invited corrupt officers at our police force, and now ICE, all while filling his pockets, invoking the name of an apparently unmerciful God. Yet statistically, immigrants contribute far more than they cost our economy. 72% have no prior criminal history, and many suffer or die in these inhumane concentration camps. Alligator Alcatraz is estimated to cost $450 million a year. Colorado can spend up to $81,000 per inmate annually. This facility, as it already stands, supposedly would cost us approximately $12 million for only 750 inmates a year, but we all know it would be much more. Meanwhile, billions are already being stolen from our social programs, lifelines that Walsenburg families rely on. Lost tourism, strained trade, and broken alliances prove this road leads only to financial ruin and the cost of blood. Mayor Vazani's too swore to defend our laws and constitution if he and others fail to safeguard people within our city limits by way of our most basic of fundamental rights, Amendments 4, 5, 6, 14, and 15, as well as for self-admitted financial corruption regarding these facilities, then maybe you have no business being in any office and should resign. It is a lie that all of you people cannot do anything to stop this, Mr. Wardle. Might I remind everyone it's never appropriate to gamble with the lives of others for money contrary to MAGA political beliefs. We all can, should, and must do something. I think our town could be known for so much more than this. We will keep protesting for the justice of all, local or overseas. My name means the people, and our indigenous peoples are the true human beings of these lands. Us white settlers are the immigrants. I speak for those ignored and erased, known as illegal on stolen land. We reject Nazi Vazani's unimaginatively racist and cruel money grab on Walsenburg citizens' reputation. It doesn't represent us as a county. Down with ICE, IDF, fuck Trump, and death to the traitors, free America and free Palestine.
Okay. Were you Kyrie? I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Kyrie. Come.
My name is Kiri Connell.
Sorry about that.
I live at 215 West 3rd Street. Let's speak this truth loud enough to shatter the silence. What's happening in Walsenburg isn't just corrupt, it's fascist. It's a blueprint for authoritarianism, wrapped in barbed wire and dressed up as a local revival. Core Civic, one of America's largest private prison profiteers, wants to reopen the same failed facility that bankrupted our town. They want to turn it into an ICE detention center. And as if that weren't enough, they're pushing for a second site, another soft-sided facility to cage human beings for profit. Let me be absolutely clear. Detention centers like these are filled through masked ICE raids, snatching people up from their homes, workplaces, and communities, often with no warning, no court orders, and no regard for constitutional rights. This is kidnapping under the veil of enforcement. What follows is not justice. It's indefinite detention. It's due process thrown to the wayside in a dumpster fire that is the current state of America. Many detainees are held without access to lawyers, without timely hearings, without even knowing when or if they will be released. That is unconstitutional. That is un-American. That is fascism. And right here in Walsenburg, Mayor Gary Vazani is ready to sign off on it all. If they're ready, we're ready tomorrow, he said. Ready for what? To hand over our sovereignty to a corporation riddled with lawsuits and human rights violations? Meanwhile, nearly half our police department has a history of criminal charges, firings, and misconduct. These are people we're empowering as Core Civic expands its reach. What do you think happens when unchecked local power merges with federal force and corporate muscle? It becomes a machine, a violent one with no brakes and no accountability. This isn't about our safety, it's about control. It's about locking up the marginalized to build financial pipelines. It's authoritarianism at the local level, and if we stay quiet, it will bury us. This is our line in the sand. Because justice means fighting for our neighbors. It means defending the Constitution, not watching it get steamrolled for profit. And every time we speak out, we reclaim this, what the system tries to erase, our humanity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cynthia Cresswell.
Good morning, commissioners, county officials, employees, and attendees to this meeting. My name is Cynthia Cresswell, Cresswell. I reside at 416 Champ Avenue. I am indigenous to this land, both of Native American and Mexican ancestry. So what's happening across the United States, what's proposed to happen in our community, it's a disgrace. I have provided handouts to the commissioners. They contain numbers and percentages as of June 2025 regarding the total number of detainees and a brief breakdown of those with criminal records and those with no criminal records or charges at all. The second set of copies pertains pertinent information regarding the 5th and 14th Amendments with clarification as to who due process covers, since there seems to have been some question regarding due process and who is eligible for it. I hope the copies that I've provided can help clear up any misconceptions as to whether or not due process applies to everybody, illegal aliens included. I won't go over the numbers that I've researched as far as detainments as of the 24th of June. You all have that information. What I will state is less than 7% of the detainees are considered a high-level threat 1 per ICE of their levels of 1, 2, and 3. Sources of these numbers can be verified on government sites as well as open internet forums. The inhumane treatment of the detainees, the very fact that they are held with no access to proper hygiene, proper medical, access to familial contact, legal contact, and so much more, leave to question the total lack of regard for human life and whether illegal or not, these folks are all human beings. They deserve so much more than they are receiving at the hands of the federal government. The very fact that our county or city feels that it's acceptable for possible financial profit to be made off the backs of human beings is despicable. As a side note, Colorado law prohibits local law enforcement agencies from cooperating with federal immigration enforcement officers unless there is a signed 287G agreement on record, and the Teller County agreement is currently under question as of January 22nd, 2025. So I have 2 questions for the commissioners, and you were correct, Commissioner Wardell. There are limitations as to the authority that you have regarding core civic and what you can or cannot do. However, you do have authority in regards to Apex Site Services wanting to open a secondary soft-sided detainment center. They have to apply for permits. They have to meet certain specifications based on Huerfano County policies, procedures, zoning requirements, and building requirements. So you do have authority to say yay or nay if whether or not you allow them to come into this county. Okay. I don't want to be known as a county for detention centers because that's all we're going to be known as. The other question is Huerfano County planning on entering into a 27G or submitting an application for a 27G so that they can work with ICE, HSI, and any white supremacy groups that come in to house the prison and the detention center? Are you aware of a 287G?
Know of nothing of that kind. And time is up, so I appreciate it. Stephanie Tucker? I know of nothing of that, of another facility. That's my answer. Stephanie Tucker?
Multitasking. Good morning, everyone. I'm here this morning representing the Friday
Say your
protest
name
group.
and address
Oh,
for the
excuse me,
record,
yeah.
please.
I'm Stephanie Tucker. I live at 209 Walson Avenue. Thank you very much for giving us time to talk to you about this. This is a very important opportunity for us to really bring humanity back into the decision-making process in our community. We, the people of the Friday protest group, I know you might have seen this in the paper. You can read. I think it's good information to have. Make sure everybody has heard this. This was a letter to the editor in the paper this last Thursday. The people of Friday Protest Group are respectfully voicing our outrage at the possibility of an ICE detention center coming to our very own backyard. We are speaking of the Huerfano County Correctional Center. They're at I-25 and exit 49. Recent activity in and around the prison has increased. It has also been mentioned in a city council meeting that the city has requested to ensure the roads are accessible and clear, as well as water lines are functioning properly. Work trucks and vehicles continue to be visible on the property. People are speaking. Media is reporting that Core Civic may require a contract for a private ICE detention center. Any amount of revenue is not worth the possible consequences that might come along with the ICE, DHI, or federal agencies entering and operating within our community. The community members should not have to live in fear of being harassed, targeted because of their skin color or accent. We've seen this done repeatedly by ICE agents throughout the nation. They have no concern for the rights if they are able to meet their quotas. Rights of every person in America should be protected. The right for due process is afforded to everybody. It is not exclusive of your citizenship. Recent nationally publicized events show that there is no respect for the law or anyone out there. Detainments of multiple public officials, public ICE agents masking up, not willing to show ID, refusing to show judicial warrants if they've been issued, invasions of the incorrect address, detainments of U.S. citizens based on profiling, as well as expulsion of infants and minor U.S. citizens undergoing cancer treatments to other countries they've never even been in. The U.S. Constitution states clearly that due process is afforded to every person within our borders, as I already stated, not only to citizens. ICE has shown the willingness to desecrate the most sacred document of our country. We should not be complicit in this desecration. This is why we protest, and we will continue to protest. No hate, no ICE in our place. Due process is for anyone on U.S. soil. I would also take a moment to ask you, everybody here is either an aunt, a child, a mother, a father, a grandfather, anyone that you loved. Would you like them subjected to the treatment that we are seeing portrayed throughout our nation in despicable manner? If they are so above board on what they're wanting to accomplish, they should do it with pride and confidence and not have to hide behind masks and not be willing to show their badges. If they are really doing it justly, are we allowing people to weaponize the anger and hate that they've used to try and continue to control certain people and marginalize areas of our society that have already seen the hardest times to come up in this country? Do you want your children out in the fields picking the vegetables?
Thank you very much. Dee, you're up next.
Good morning, commissioners, county administrator, and all present. It concerned me to hear that the commission stated they had
Can
no
you
say.
state your address, please?
Which one? D. May Sandoval, 7105 Ash Creek Heights, Colorado Springs, Colorado. D. May Sandoval, 1010 West 27th Street, Pueblo, Colorado. D. May Sandoval, 318 Kansas Avenue, Walsenburg, Colorado. D. May Sandoval, property owner out in Navajo.
Thank you.
It concerned me to hear a representative of the commission state that the commission had no say in the ongoing talks of a proposed concentration camp coming to Huerfano County. The residents, taxpayers, voters of this county elected you to represent them and their best interest and their voice. Is it fair to say that when you come into these chambers, you pick and choose what you have a say on? what you have an opinion on? Do you not want to voice your opinions loudly so that people can see who and what you stand for? The treatment of individuals in these concentration camps has raised significant ethical and humanitarian questions. Reports of overcrowding, inadequate medical care, and lack of access to legal representation. And these are just some of the concerns these humans face. These conditions affect the physical and mental well-being of these humans. Is there no such thing as human rights or justice any longer in this country? Are we going to abolish it in this county as well? Who are going to be the gatekeepers to ensure these humans live in acceptable conditions? Other than just collecting revenue, as that seems to be the focus. As Mayor Vazani said, it's a godsend. I don't know what God he serves, but it sure as hell isn't the same God I serve. Are any of you going to ask the hard questions about the care and living conditions of these humans? Does Huerfano County want to be known for its Nazi camp? Is that the way to attract tourists? Is that what is going to get Huerfano County on the map? Is that what's going to bring in money because we don't have anyone with any forethought on how to bring in industry? Have each of you researched how communities feel about having concentration camps in their community? Have each of you researched how tourists view patronizing communities which house concentration camps? Have each of you asked yourself how locals feel about patronizing local businesses who have stayed silent about a concentration camp in their community? Have each of you thought about the price gouging that is going to happen, rentals, home prices, groceries, once the camps open? Have each of you thought about the fact that midterms are a year and a half away and this could change drastically? We have all seen how this is playing out across the country. It is racially and ethnicity based. It is Hitler 2.0. Is how each of you want your legacy to read? Huerfano County Commissioners, Spore Leader, Wardell, and Chamberlain turn a blind eye to concentration camps in Huerfano County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Laura?
Carmen?
Good morning. This is Carmen Lara, 115 West 2nd, apartment 89. And of course, this is regarding the ICE and the prison. So you say you have no control, but you do have some control on approving these centers. Any statements made should not be based only on money, as some people have been saying. We don't care what they bring in so long as we get money. That's a very wrong reason to do this. Remember, this country is for the people. There are rules to protect people born in the U.S. and immigrants. Even the Bible says that, and these are my words, people not native to their town should be treated properly, and especially because they were once foreigners themselves. Sure, send back the criminals to where they came from. I mean, that should be done all the time. So I don't know what the problem is, but children are not criminals, so I don't know why they're being sent back too. Most people in the U.S. are immigrants. My great-grandparents and grandparents came in legally and worked in the mines and in the fields picking sugar beets and other foods. And some of my family members still do that. Or they were Native Americans and were always here. So, you know, it's important to treat people with respect. There is due process, and that needs to be followed. If you're going to send people back, go through the court system, which will take forever, but that's the way it should be done. That's what our rules say. And the problem is that people aren't following the rules. They're doing what they want, when they want, how they feel like it, and picking on certain groups. And that's just not right. And remember also that when we had the prison open before, there was no housing to house some of the people, because I'm sure some people will try and come in. And there was not the ability to hire employees because unfortunately they couldn't pass the drug tests. So you're looking at multiple problems. I don't even know if we have the sewer system or water system to be able to do this, because we had problems before and they rebuilt the systems. But just remember, these are people and they need to be treated with respect. And if they're criminals, true criminals, sure, deport them, send them back to where they came from. But don't send those that are innocent and working and putting money towards our city, our country, because you don't like the color of their skin, or, you know, they came from someplace else. Because like I said, the majority of people in the United States are immigrants. Doesn't matter how they came over. I mean, they should have gone through the regular system, but you know, when people are scared and abused, they don't want to. They want to be treated because they could have a better life here, and they are very productive members of our society. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmen. And Jason Valdez.
Jason Valdez, 303 West First Street, La Vida. 14th Amendment, Section 1 decrees, no state shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. As a subdivision of the state, county commissioners have a duty under the Constitution to uphold those words, and I will repeat them. Nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. The framers of the Constitution deliberately made a distinction between person and citizen, and the courts have repeatedly upheld that intention in cases such as Reno versus Flores in 1993, in which Justice Scalia wrote, "It is well established that the Fifth Amendment entitles immigrants to due process of law. Any claim or legal action by federal, state, or local representatives that immigrants, documented or undocumented, are not entitled to due process of law is ludicrous and a gross miscarriage of justice. Our elected local representatives swore an oath to uphold the Constitution and therefore should not be complicit with any organization, person, or process that works against it. ICE in its operations has repeatedly been found to be in violation of multiple parts of the Constitution, especially that of denying due process to people. And I stress people, because immigrants, documented or otherwise, are people. They are not nameless, faceless numbers on a spreadsheet or someone's boogeyman. They are living, breathing people just like you and I, with families, hopes, and dreams. Therefore, to be in cooperation with or to be seeking cooperation with the organization, with that organization, goes against the oath our representatives swore. Our commissioners stated recently, and I quote, "We don't have any power over it whatsoever in regards to turning the empty prison into an ICE detainment center. If that is true, then why have our county commissioners and the Walsenburg officials taken actions and made statements that prepare for and persuade a contract with ICE?" Walsenburg Mayor Visani stated, "They're going to do it somewhere. We might as well take advantage of it." These are the values we uphold as a nation. Ignore the human and constitutional rights violations. They're going to happen anyway, so we might as well make a few bucks off of it. That is not what I was raised and educated to believe this country should be. No matter what great thing you think you're building, there is no solid ground on the wrong side of history. The words inscribed at the feet of Lady Liberty say, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door." Nowhere in that poem does it say, send them so we can bury them in bureaucracy for years, then hunt them down, imprison them without due process, and send them back to where they came from and back to the dangers they were fleeing. Do the words of that revered poem even mean anything anymore? Have we become so comfortable in our arrogance and wrapped up in our bureaucracy that we have forgotten our humanity? Or is it just hate of the other?
and Alberto Valdez.
I'm Roberto Valdez. I am indigenous to this land. My home is this land, this entire region. As indigenous people, we have experienced the heavy-handedness
sorry,
of government
Can you state your address?
intervention.
Can you state your address as well?
I, Vita.
Thank you.
La Veta. We have experienced the heavy-handedness of government interventionism, the insensitive actions of policymakers, military force against the people, the creation of prison concentration camps, and the complacency of the general population to atrocities committed in their name. Vizani has said, we don't care as a city. I'm here to say I reject Vizani's attempt to preempt and appropriate the voice of the people of this area. I state emphatically that I absolutely do care about this issue. I care about the people who will be housed in the prison and particularly how they will be treated. I care about the criminal reputation of the owners of that prison who are known to grossly abuse prisoner rights, all for maximizing profits. And most seriously, I object to the very real possibility that the leaders of this county and city collaborate in supporting the increasingly lawless heavy-handedness and heavily funded INS and Department of Homeland Security. I emphasize that Vizani does not speak for me, nor will any other leaders of the community act in my name on this issue. I fully understand the ounce of logic in Gary Vizani's thinking about the city economics. However, one of the principal factors that leaves all of us vulnerable to authoritarianism and fascism. The real danger I see in encouraging the entry of ICE into our community is the and heavy-handed approaches that ICE uses in it. I, as an indigenous person on this land, certainly do not feel safe in that kind of environment Vizani wants to focus on my family. And as we see what ICE is doing through ICE is rapidly becoming the counterpart of the brown shirts of Nazi Germany. Another dangerous aspect of our current national trend into fascism is blind nationalism, uber patriotism, and uncritical acceptance of national policy. Blind nationalism and lack of self-reflection lends themselves to acceptance of attacks on of the worst kind on the most vulnerable in our society, and that's immigrants, the vast majority being global peoples and local communities of color. Lastly, our lack of critical thinking about constitutional human rights is leading to gross militarism, another aspect of the imposition of fascism. Militarism as related to the U.S. is no longer a matter of international military interventions. U.S. militarism is now thoroughly implemented among us right here at home. The U.S. government currently ignores laws and deploys the military into cities and the borderlands. Additionally, the U.S. city governments now contract with the Israeli military, the Israeli Defense Forces, many communities of color such as Oakland and Atlanta train in urban warfare, teach them murderous tactics that they have honed in Gaza and the West Bank. Our local leaders will not act hypocritically in the face of their oaths to defend the U.S. Constitution. I hope that more than one of you will stand up in defense of the rule of law, of constitutional rights, and listen to the voice of the people. Abajo con amigo.
Is there
Can
any?
everyone please silence their phone to respect the proceedings?
Is there anyone online?
Not currently.
Perfect. Okay. I'm sorry, that's all that was on the list. Was there anyone else that needed to talk? Yeah, yeah.
I was invited here, so
Well, it's your choice. This is a public comment. Let's say something or not. That's
Whatever it means, not to be a judge here.
yeah, this is, yeah, the BOCC.
So Craig Lesser. You,
And your address for the record, sorry.
I'm going to give you the 500 South Albert. So, it included in the email back and forth from administration of being, repaid for signature. And I would like to know officially what policies that I did not follow that I will not be reimbursed for my own purchases that were made for the county to lawfully made through the policy and procedure manuals.
Well, this is just a public comment phase.
Well, that's why I
that's,
asked.
yeah,
I
I'm
wasn't
sorry.
sure.
This is just for people to state their opinions and things of that nature. It's not,
That's why I asked what part of the meeting I needed.
yeah, I mean, this is part of the regular meeting, but that's a side issue.
So you want to address this now?
I mean, there's no need to. at the
Carrying
moment.
this on for weeks.
Well, okay, we can address it. In the email responses, the lengthy ones, the policy has been to everybody that has been in the courthouse and after we put the receipts and things, sorry, I gotta get my brain wrapped around something else. Receipts and everything of that nature, you're not going to be not for the gloves. You're not going to be not paid for by the meals, but we do need to have documentation of purchases. And we had, yes, but it didn't have a line item. And we've sent in the emails the documentation that shows what the IRS needs and what we had as well.
The documentation I received from Mr. Hill for the IRS is not for taxed items and it's below $75. Also, for itemized items, that's not listed in the policy and procedure manual. So how would any employee know that that has to be done?
Do you want
me to?
Yeah, go ahead and take it. I'm going to
So-
look for the email because.
Yeah. So Craig, I'm going to read to you from the policy, the exact line that is at issue. Oh, just read it. Here we go.
I could if I could get my email though.
Meals will be reimbursed at actual expense up to the state per diem rate. Expenses for alcohol and other non-allowable items will not be reimbursed. Receipts for business expenses must be submitted with the reimbursement request.
There was no alcohol purchase. There was no
Prove it.
prove otherwise. Though. It is not
I don't have
spelled
to.
out that I have to have an itemized receipt.
File a lawsuit then.
Okay, I will.
In the same policy, it says that those things will be looked at. And so just by any rational thought that those things will be looked at.
Well, I can guarantee
Which-
you, sir, that many other receipts have been turned in that were not itemized. Showing that is not true, Kim, because I've turned them in myself as a day before, and other members of the department have turned those in.
They should be. Should be, that they should be.
Then it should be.
Clear, put it in the policy. Put it in the policy.
Here's in the policy.
You didn't read itemized, sir.
Hold on.
Exactly the same thing.
Hold on.
Come to
Hold
the,
on 1 second. Come to the mic.
we're not going to get into
So it is in the policy. It is in the policy, not just this place, 5 different sort of ways. Receipts need to show what was purchased. Is this a restaurant that sells alcohol?
I have no idea because I purchased alcohol.
Has alcohol ever purchased on county funds from the sheriff's office?
That people are upset.
I'm sorry, Stephanie, please.
This
Has-
is a
has-
issue.
Has alcohol ever been purchased?
I have no idea.
You don't?
I do not.
Okay.
If I may. In the manual, it says that non-allowable items shall not be reimbursed, correct?
In the paperwork that you sent, the quote that you sent in your email, what did it say?
I'd have to look at
Because I don't have it won't open.
What I'm allowed to purchase goes through the sheriff. If he deems it necessary for my employment and to perform my job duties, that is what's purchased. I don't understand why a pair of leather gloves for a less lethal training where I'm going to burn my hands picking up hot items. how
All
that
we
can be
needed was
determined.
explanation why those were purchased. And they were accepted.
I understand that, but I don't know where.
Well, we don't either. When it says you went to the class and there's a reimbursement for gloves, it's confusing. All we asked was for an explanation, it's all we wanted.
But those,
And as soon as you did that, it was fine.
why do I need to go further than my boss, which is the
Sign
sheriff?
off on it, guys. It wasn't signed off on yet. So it was easy. All you had to do is say, hey, I used it for a class because of the gloves they sold. We were hands on. That's all. That's all. It was.
It wasn't that easy. If we go back through the emails, it's definitely not that easy.
I sent the original email to Melanie just asking, can you give me an explanation? And we need to itemize receipt. All you guys do is call the restaurant, get an itemized receipt.
Not every restaurant gives an itemized
They
receipt.
do.
You can take a photo of the order.
I mean,
I can write down, I can write down the ingredients of a taco that I purchased.
I just read it. If you can't understand that, maybe it should be in law enforcement.
Come on, Carl. That is, come on.
Okay.
Don't go there. Don't.
We will have order. We are not going to get into a shouting match in here, okay?
These are the same rules that everyone is required to follow. Nothing special.
What's going on with the ice detention facility and this?
Because you had your chance to talk about.
No, it wasn't your question. We're upset
Just one
about
second.
it. Why have we not upset as much about you as went on with you? There should be just as much indignation as to what is not being done for you as there is as us.
I'm not done
for the
telling you
ice.
what's going on.
Okay, we can't just do the back and forth in the community. This is a recorded event. You have to have, if you want to come to the mic and talk, come to the mic and talk.
Before, sorry, just a second. In the policy manual, it says, expenses for alcohol.
We'll take your question.
Okay.
D. May Sandoval, do you want me to repeat my addresses? Do I need
No,
to?
then you,
Okay, so I guess first and foremost, I just want to bring something to your attention because I do pay attention to detail. So I thought it was interesting that Mr. Leisure, I don't know his title, but he came up here and he stated that his address was 500 South Albert. Well, I don't know about all of you, but I know where 500 South Albert is. It's the police station. So what is the purpose of asking for an address if people can give their work address? I don't understand that. To me, that's,
sorry, I didn't catch that. I was just,
yeah.
he said it, I
Yeah.
was thinking.
So anyway,
So-
I just thought that was interesting. What I would like to speak to about this last incident is I thought it was very interesting that your sheriff sat right there and did not say one thing to defend or speak to the whole issue. Know what he did? He got up and he left. What does that say about your sheriff? I just kind of want to remind everyone about.
Could you state your name and for this on the record?
My name is Stephanie Ann Tupper. I live at 209 Walson Avenue. I'm a proud citizen of Walsenburg. I try to be a very effective community member and a community member that gives back. I think I want to remind everyone that there is a certain way that we conduct ourselves if we're professionals and we're adults. In consideration of that, I think there's also a time and place where we also take the reign of being accountable people of morality. Pettiness and going back and forth about small business expenditures, when we look at the grand scheme of the way the world and expenditures work, those small things are not really what should get such a majority of our energy and power throughout the day. Yes, they're important. Yes, there are procedural things that need to be found. If we find that there's maybe not procedural documentation that clarifies it, that's an opportunity to improve. Instead of making sure we have to point the finger at someone else for doing something wrong, let's try to solve problems instead of just complaining about the problems. Be solution driven. This is how we can be more accomplished in our own lives. This is the power that we as individuals do have. We have power of our own thoughts. We have power over our own words. And more importantly, we have power over our own actions. Please remember this in all of your encounters with every human being, every body does matter.
Thank you.
Commissioner. Yeah, thank you, Stephanie. And I appreciate that. I just want to apologize both to you all, everyone in the room, for my part of that.
I understand tensions are high and it's an extremely tenuous situation for everybody. But at the end of the day, we all have loved ones. And if any one of our loved ones were treated in this manner, we would be indignant about it.
Yeah, so I will say, Stephanie, you're a former county employee. You've been held to the same standard. I want to apologize for my outburst and for my words I spoke to them. I'll issue a response to the sheriff and to his staff. But I will say that I will express my sincere apologies to all of you guys. I shouldn't have to see that, and I shouldn't have.
Not you, right?
Okay, you.
My name is Cynthia Creswell again. Thank you for apologizing because I like you, but that was a very unexpected outburst from you and uncalled for. But thank you for the apology. Coming from a work environment that dealt with government per diems, I don't understand if this county follows federal government per diems, why that is not included in OIs for law enforcement or any employee of the county. And if a request for reimbursement was submitted without Sheriff Newman's authorization of it, it should have been sent back to him immediately with an explanation so that it could be addressed immediately. Okay, I'm going to say it right out. I am not a law enforcement person, but to see a law enforcement person belittled for buying something during a training session that was in his mind or a requirement of the training session is not acceptable. And it was not acceptable for Sheriff Newman to sit there and not stand up and defend his officer. Again, if you guys follow governmental federal per diems and it's not listed in your OIs, it needs to be so that a misunderstanding like this does not occur again.
Thank you.
Ms. Creswell, we do not follow per diems. The county does not issue per diems. The county requires actual expenses.
Well, that's what a per diem is. Okay, I did travel for years for government. You submit a trip request, you submit all your receipts, and she is correct. When you go to a restaurant, it lists out what your food is, if there was alcoholic beverages, and that alcoholic beverage is then deducted from the receipt and the amount requested to be reimbursed to the traveler. Same thing for a law enforcement individual. So if you don't follow a federal government per diem and you follow a state per diem, the same procedures should be in place and followed.
Yes, that's correct. So when I think per diem, I think just here's the money for meals for X, not reimbursement, but you're correct, absolutely. That is our current policy.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Daniel Connell, I'm a resident of Walsman. I'd like to expand on something that DG's brought up. This is the problem when you let people like ICE in here. That law enforcement officer failed to identify where he lives. He lied. These people lied. He lied.
Now they know where we live, but we don't.
Yeah. And zero accountability. Zero. I could care less if he doesn't get the gloves he needs to beat on somebody. But zero accountability. That's why we don't want ICE and these Nazis in our town. Thank you.
Anybody else online?
Not this time.
One more, and then we have another meeting we need to get on to.
Norberto Valdez, La Veta. I simply want to say that I didn't give my home address because even little instances of resistance to ICE and police forces that are going to oppress our communities, like ICE will do here, I'm not going to facilitate that. That's why I did not give my home address.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. We'll wrap this up. We have other appointments coming up, so I appreciate it. And thank you for coming out.
You guys don't have anything to say.
I'll make,
Yeah, I mean, I would like to hear from you.
This isn't the time for that. This is only for a public
When is that
comment.
gonna be? So I can be there.
Yeah, I want to hear your specific words on everything that.
Okay, we'll have to make it different. I'll have to do something different because this is not the time for it. We were already late
You
for a
can't just
meeting.
tell us what you think about what we had to say.
Well,
Change your mind even a little bit, that it's not.
oh, I hear what you're saying. I completely hear what you're saying. I completely hear what you're saying. I understand your position on things, and it's not quite as it's a very complex issue, and we need to take all of
Maintaining our
the.
decent.
Okay, see, this is
Ma'am,
this is
please let
why
them
we don't go into the back and forth. No,
So I'll say this.
okay, he's gonna try and answer your question, please. Please, he's
So-
trying to answer your question.
So I'll say this. That facility exists. It exists within the city of Walsenburg. We do not have any permitting authority over it. If we did, it currently exists. And we still could not take, we don't get a say in this. Like the county does not get a say.
and I have heard nothing about another facility.
There's no permit, there's no anything of that nature that comes to the county for that. There's no question to ask about can it or should it be open, nothing of that nature.
And I have nothing of any other new thing coming.
That's disappointing.
We might get a courtesy notice that they're going to open it.
Well, there's a lot of things. That's all I'm doing. We didn't go to the moon too, but there's all kinds of things on Snapchat and but whatever.
Stations, Apex.
Apex Site Services.
I know
And
of
they're
nothing.
This is major media.
What I would
regular.
appreciate is, since you didn't know anything about the 287G, I would like for somebody to do research, present it to you, and you to hold a public information meeting for us to address these items that were presented to you that you say you have no knowledge about. Also, the Apex Site Services, they are in contention to open a second facility, a soft-sided tent, yes, here.
So
And this is on government websites, this is per ICE, all of it. So hold a public meeting, please, to address the issues that we have presented to you, to show that you're concerned,
to show that you're willing to go the extra mile, to do the research for the concerns that your constituents and your residents are presenting to you as our county commissioners.
So if that being the case, we shouldn't have that meeting for a couple of reasons. One, if that does become a thing, if that becomes a land use matter, unless,
I'm sorry. Okay,
unless the federal government buys the land.
no, but they're not planning on it.
So if they do not do that, then it's a land use matter, come before this board, an application will come in, it'll be posted, there'll be public comment, it'll go before the planning commission, if it goes to the board of county commissioners, the whole 9 yards.
If the federal government, they don't have to have land use
No.
applications?
No, the federal government is exempt from all local land use authority. But if they contract with a private company, that is not exempt. So I don't want to, I have concerns. I generally tell people when they come in, they want to do public hearing like that solar company did a few years, last year sometime. If we don't follow the process, we're liable to be sued and have our decision, whatever it is, overturned. So whether you're for something or against something, in our book, the best thing to do is follow the process.
Okay, so then I still would like some response from somebody regarding the 287G. If the government or the Huerfano County themselves and the Sheriff's Department are planning on submitting an application of a 287G, which will allow the Sheriff's Department to work hand in hand with ICE, HSI, and anybody else that comes in here. Since you guys were not aware that this existed, I've done research. I can go home and do more and present it to you along with the copies that I gave you today, if you would like that. But you guys need to show that you're just as concerned about these issues as we are.
So the sheriff, he was in here.
Yeah, I know, he didn't open his mouth, and you guys did look to him to address it.
So knowing him, that probably means that one, there's not an agreement. I have never seen an agreement. I've never heard of an agreement.
Colorado law.
No. I'm saying Huerfano County does not have one. That is my understanding. If we did, I think he would have said something. Was indicated that there might be one. That's different.
Supposedly,
But yeah,
the 287G that was submitted by Teller County, I believe it was 2016 or 2017, if I remember correctly. That is why it is under review, because it was supposed to cover Pueblo County, Teller County, Huerfano County, and one other county. So forgive me for not remembering. the
Teller
rest.
doesn't need our consent
No,
to
we were
file that.
inclusive of theirs.
No, I know. They don't need our consent to do that. Because what they're wanting to do is house people, regardless of where they come from. So that doesn't involve us. That never came before this board, never came before Bruce.
It's not housing.
Yeah.
It's a concentration camp.
Yeah.
Housing, whether
If you
you,
had bars on your house, would you call it a house or would it be a cage?
so hold on. First and foremost, by definition, it is housing, whether you believe it is just or unjust.
As a person of
As a
color, aren't you
person.
concerned?
As a person of color who was descended from slaves, a slave house was housing. Now, that said, is it housing what we want to live in?
Okay, stop. Come on, let's have some order.
But if anything like that does come up, if I hear anything about it, it'll be on this agenda, it'll be public. That said, the person who would initiate something like that would be the sheriff. And regardless of what we feel about the situation here, I don't think that Huerfano County has the space, the time, the money to house people in our facility.
Okay, well, there's an amendment that does have to do with cruel and unusual punishment and conditions. So if this is the case, will you guys be willing to step in and ensure that the 8th Amendment is being followed, that these people have livable treatment, medical conditions? There's people dying because they're not getting medical treatment. They're not being told what they're charged with. There's women that have lost babies because they will not give them medical treatment. So inhumane treatment, is that something that you guys are going to be willing to sign off on for this county has a history and a treatment, and like they said, a legacy of what you want to be done. I don't care if they're here illegally or not. Everybody came here illegally to start with, so we are all immigrants.
So,
Okay, so when you're taking people's green cards and you're shipping them 5 states away, you're not telling them why they're there. You're not telling them, giving them access to representation. They're getting maybe water, maybe food that's contaminated. Are you going to step up to ensure that the 8th Amendment is being followed and these human beings are getting treated the way they should be treated? Will the county step up and do that?
so
You do have that right.
I'll answer that question again.
Yes, sir.
Huerfano County would initiate that through the health department. We have a shared health department in Los Angeles County. Our policies for the health department is the same policy we have for every single county office that has rules and regulations. The rules apply the same to everyone.
I'm sorry, have you seen the health departments in this area?
I understand, I understand that. Well, yeah, and we're trying to get that cleaned up, absolutely.
Years later, right?
I mean, what do you want me to do? I don't have $2 million on me right now.
Does anybody else? 20 million.
No, that does matter.
Procedure. Maybe you guys need to start looking at the wording and doing it a better way. There's books out there for stupid people called,
Okay. All right.
dummies.
So yes, we will enforce the law.
They really, come on, guys.
We will enforce the law.
No, I get it. But maybe you guys need to have a book for dummies for law enforcement and government in your own damn town.
I realize you think that we're stupid, and maybe we are, but I promise you that we will do our best to enforce the laws as we know and understand them.
Well, they would
And I
be
think that will
understanding
answer.
better.
Let him finish.
I think that will answer Ms. Cresswell's question. To the full extent that we can, we will.
Who do you think you are?
All right, I thank you.
We need that, stop.
Hey.
Stop. No more of this, okay? No more of this.
You are our representatives.
Yes, I are.
To the mic.
Yeah, fuck you, yeah, go that way. I don't do that.
You're trying to get control.
Are you threatening me?
No, I'm not threatening you. What am I gonna do? I'm trying to gain control of this situation. We're supposed to be doing it at the podium. This is a public. Public. Oh, brother. Okay.
But then,
So I will look forward to these happening and being put on the agenda. So I appreciate your time. I'm sorry for the outburst, but it is pretty a scary time right now. So I expect that our leaders will lead our council.
Thank you, Carmen.
Thank you, Carmen.
thank you for your constant explaining.
May I just
everything else
close
that's
with
under my
this,
administration.
please? May,
I do my best, but, I'm not supposed to time too.
We all do.
so
And
it's,
I apologize for the outburst, but please don't just point at us when somebody else is being threatened to the people that represent you. Thank you.
I just have one last thing to say. It's hard to trust what is said. And I'm going to refer back to the incident that happened at the county jail with the gentleman who it has been all over the news these last few months that died in that county jail because of mistreatment. And we all saw the videos. So it's hard to believe that the law enforcement in this town protects the citizens. So you want us to believe that on top of bringing in a concentration camp, and we're going to trust those people with humans when we can't even trust our own neighbors in the community? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, B.
Thank you for listening.
And that officer made a rookie mistake to you and lied to you, was going to lie to the rest of us, and then walked in.
Did you ever say that word? He knows that in my step. He's a sheriff who's been around for quite a while. He knows what he's supposed to have. And that's representing us to keep ICE out of here.
Thank you. Okay, on to staff reports. Staff.
I have nothing for you. I had a short week. We're focused on grants and other drama.
Okay. And nothing from the county attorney?
Nothing at the moment.
Okay. And we have no need for executive session. So I entertain a motion for adjournment. We do have a Board of Human Services now and another meeting with sheriff and the surveyor interview at 2:30. We have a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
First and second. All in favor? Or we'll call for the vote, sorry.
Commissioner Chamberlain,
Yes.
Commissioner Waddell,
Yes.
Chairman Bonita,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay, we are adjourned. 11:14.